Hello everyone and welcome to the show. This week we'll be meeting John Fitzgerald from the Birmingham Irish Centre and we'll be chatting to him about his life and times and his involvement with the centre. But first up, we're off to Northampton to celebrate Bloomsday and the life and times of James Joyce. We'll also be visiting his daughter's grave, Lucia Joyce. Jerry Malumbi and friends put on a wonderful celebration of history, storytelling and a good song or two.
Alive, alive, oh, alive, alive, oh, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, oh.
Peter, of course this celebration has been going on quite a long time.
Yes, well I'm a local lad, so I know these areas, and in 2004 I was informed that Lucia was buried here, and we agreed to organise a Bloomsday by her graveside. Yep. And we've been doing it ever since 2004, and this is the 18th year we've been doing it, and we're getting an increasing interest because of the book, because of the family, and because of the connection of this area. There's a lot of Irish buried all around here. Donald Macaulay is buried over there. The woman who shot Mussolini is buried over there. Nurses, Irish nurses who looked after Lucia in St Andrew's Hospital are buried all around this area. Many of them are still alive, and they tell us stories about Lucia and how she asked about Ireland.
And Jerry, of course Lucia would be delighted to know that so many people are here tonight in her honour and her dad's honour, but of course taking lovely photographs of her headstone as well in her remembrance.
Yeah, it's like Peter said, it's evolved over the years, from Peter starting off the first Bloomsday in recognition of Lucia being buried here, and he approached me and said, could I bring some people from Triskelion to do some reenactments. So over the years we've all come along, and local people have come, and as you saw and heard tonight, people contribute by reading from Ulysses and singing songs and talking about Dublin, and we never know what's going to happen. We have a set performance, but people who, as you saw tonight, who chip in, make it what it is, and it's evolved greatly. And Richard and James, as you know, have written the play, which we premiered in 2018, and we're hoping to revive it next year for the 100th anniversary of the publication of Ulysses, which coincides with the 50th anniversary of Lucia's death.
And of course you had a wonderful sing-along there with Sean Cannon, and everybody joined in tonight. Yeah,
absolutely. Yeah, Sean, and as you met Paddy Kelly, Luke Kelly's brother, in great voice at the age of 82. Sean is a regular here at our Bloomsday, and he, having sang with the Dubliners, and Luke Kelly did, of course, all those years, and one of the best of Joyce's books is his book of short stories called Dubliners. So it's all connected, and it's all Dubliners being from Dublin, obviously, Ulysses being set in Dublin. It's all come together fantastically, yeah.
And you've done a wonderful job yourself here tonight, of course, performing, singing, and just keeping the whole operation going so smoothly.
Yeah, it's a joy to do, and may I say, Martin and Annette, having you here as well adds a kind of friance to the whole thing. Everyone goes up a gear because they're going to be on the telly. Thanks, Martin.
Lucia Joyce, born Trieste, 1707, died Northampton, 1982. Lucia may have been the daughter of a famous father, but she had her own aspirations.
Deirdre, of course you're very well known to us because for your storytelling at the Crawley Irish Festival, and of course your involvement with the Irish Studies Festival in Nottingham. But tell me, who was James Joyce and why do we celebrate Bloomsday?
He changed the course of Irish literature, he changed the course of English literature. He just redefined the novel.
And of course you've had the celebration here. It's been here for the last 16 years, I believe.
Yeah, I've only been at 3 or 4 of them, but I tell you now a story. I got a lift down here a good few years ago, the first time I came down, and there was no train back, and I would have been left on a park bench like Nora, only for Peter Mulligan and his wife, who put me up that night and were really hospitable. So I really sympathised with poor Nora being left on park benches all over the place while James went looking for a place to live, because that's basically what I was like that night. I started learning the words. I mean, I learned them for 2018, but like that's a while ago now. So I started about a month ago reading through them, and then I taped them and I listened to them, and in the middle of the night.
What about your storytelling in general? Tell us a little bit about that.
We do some storytelling for schools around St. Patrick's Day, because I did notice over the years it seemed to be very much the adults sitting around and, God forbid, us getting drunk, and the children were kind of left out of it. So I started doing storytelling for the children, like in the Market Square on the day, down in the Irish Centre, and then I've got in touch with schools and gone in and done crafts with them and storytelling. I mean, that stopped because of COVID. And can I tell you before, I mean, this mightn't stay on record, but you caught me in Crawley one year storytelling. My cousin back in Tullow, County Carlow, saw me, rang up my sister down in Croydon and said, I've just seen Deirdre on the television. So you are being watched back in County Carlow.
Yes, weep, and however my foes may condemn, thy tears shall efface their decree. For heaven can witness, though guilty to them, I have been but too faithful to thee.
James, we've had a lovely celebration here tonight of Bloomsday. How long have you been coming?
I suppose about 10 years I got to know about it. Over the years I met Richard Rose, who was also attending it. Maybe 4 years ago Richard said, would I like to collaborate on a play with Lucia Joyce as the focus. And Richard had written a number of monologues, imaginary monologues that people who knew Lucia would perhaps have addressed to her, and asked me whether I'd like to work on it and work it up into a play. So we took it from there, and I did wrote some connecting scenes and introduced a couple of other characters till we had about an hour-long drama. We thought a more structured centrepiece would be a good idea. So 3 years ago, 2018, we did it, and we're hoping to do it again next year, which will be the 40th anniversary of Lucia's death. So we should be doing it again then. And it's pretty effective when you get the characters costumed, and we have Samuel Beckett in it, and Nora Barnacle, Joyce's wife, and Frank Budgeon, and people like that. So it worked pretty well. Yeah.
And so I'm going to read a passage now which is from the biography of Lucia, written by Carol Lloyd Schloss from the United States. It's the only substantial work on Lucia's life. And the passage I'm going to read is about Lucia entering a dance competition in Paris.
Well, a bit like James, I've been coming for a number of years, and traditionally everybody's read something, so I've read odd bits of poetry, some from Joyce and some from other Irish writers occasionally. And then I had an idea about what it must have been like for Lucia to be separated from so many people who meant so much to her, from her father, obviously, her mother, from Sam Beckett, who she's reportedly had a long and unfulfilled relationship with, and from one of her dancing friends, a lady called Kathleen Neal, who was often referred to as Kitten. So I imagined what it would have been like for her trying to make contact with these people. And it occurred to me, often if you go to a cemetery like this, you will find people who are talking to people in the graves. You know, they're talking to their dead spouse or their relative, whoever it is. And I thought, well, why shouldn't that work both ways? Wouldn't it be nice if there was a communication between Lucia and these people who meant so much to her? So we had this kind of idea of this fiction of these people visiting Lucia, but having written letters to her, saying things that they should perhaps have said to her while she was alive. So I'm working with James, who's a very experienced playwright. It didn't take us too long to bring things together, and you know, 2018, the performance by Triskelion was very successful, and we've been delighted with the response to it.
She died of a fever, and no one could save her, and that was the end of sweet Molly Malone. Now her ghost wheels her barrow through the streets broad and narrow, crying cockles and mussels, alive, alive, alive.
Sean, great to see you there giving us a few great songs.
Oh, it's a pleasure. You know, it's a memory from 2 years ago. We were here before.
Do you do much singing down around Coventry in this area at the moment?
No, I wish we had. But of course COVID has killed all the music and catering, and it's a sorry state.
But normally, if we didn't have the virus, would you be out singing?
Oh, I would. Yeah, I'm getting very hoarse because I'm not using that muscle anymore.
And Paddy, of course, you've got a great voice. Of course, you're the brother of the late Luke Kelly, yeah.
Yes, unfortunately, poor Luke passed away on January the 31st, 1984, at the age of 43 years of age. But he left what you call Luke's legacy. Yeah. And we miss him dearly, even after all these years. And I do recall Sean, when he was ill and wasn't able to perform, Sean took his place in the Dubliners, and we've become big friends ever since, because I've moved to Coventry back from Dublin, and we've met up again after a long time.
And Sean, it's great to know that you keep the friendship, you guys, you know, that you played together, done so much together in your early years.
Well, the cement is the music. It keeps us all together.
Well, listen, lovely to meet you both tonight.
No, they never know.